If you're running a business doing 6 or 7 figures in revenue, it's likely that your trademarks are some of the most valuable assets your business has. They're how your customers identify you in the market and differentiate you from your competitors. Registering your trademarks gives you legally enforceable rights to stop other businesses from using the same or similar marks in respect of similar goods and services. Today, I'm going to be walking through the top 5 mistakes I see business owners make and how to avoid them. The first mistake is not registering a trademark. You might have a business name registration, but that gives you 0 IP rights. A business name registration is what you're legally required to do in order to trade under a particular name. A trademark registration is what you need in order to own that name and to be able to stop other people from using it. If someone else registers your trademarks before you do, it means that they legally own it and they can enforce those rights. This leaves you with 2 options, a legal fight or a rebrand. Both are much more expensive than just registering your trademarks at the outset. The second mistake is not properly covering the goods and services that you provide under the trademark. Trademark registrations are for specific goods and services, which is broken up into 45 classes. If you get the goods and services description wrong, your trademark might not cover the services and goods that you provide. It's essential that your trademark covers the goods and services that you actually sell, and many business owners get this wrong. For example, a consulting business that only has consulting services protected and who then goes on to develop a software platform might not be able to stop another software business from using a similar trademark in relation to their product. The problem is that gaps in the goods and services description usually aren't uncovered until there's a dispute. And that is not the time when you want to find out that your trademark doesn't properly protect you. The third mistake we often see is businesses not protecting all of their brand assets. Most business owners protect their main business trademark, but they often forget to register their logo, sub-brands, product lines, and taglines. The problem is that as a business grows, it creates new trademarks and develops value in those trademarks. If you're not protecting those trademarks, you're putting that value at risk. The most common example we see is a business that has protected its word trademark but hasn't protected its distinctive logo. If you don't have a trademark registration for both, you might not have comprehensive protection over your core business assets. The fix is to do a trademark audit, which is a deep dive looking at all of your business's assets and its trademarks and determine which ones are commercially important enough to protect with a trademark registration. Mistake number 4 is not reviewing your trademark portfolio as you grow. Most business owners file their trademark registration at the beginning of their business journey, and that registration might not reflect what your business looks like now. It might no longer reflect the goods and services that you provide, you might have changed the entities, and you might have new assets that are worth protecting. All of these leave gaps in your IP protection and leave you exposed. Make sure that you are regularly reviewing your trademark portfolio. Once every 12 months is usually enough. The 5th biggest mistake we see is not monitoring or enforcing your trademarks. Trademark registration is really just step 1 of the process. Monitoring and then enforcing your rights is step 2. If you're not willing to monitor and enforce your trademark registrations, you might as well not have them. Many founders assume that once you have a trademark registration, the system will automatically protect them, but that's not the case. Monitoring and enforcing your rights is up to you as the trademark owner. Monitoring includes monitoring the market and also monitoring the trademark register to check and see whether similar trademarks have been filed. Once an infringement has been identified, it's up to you to decide whether or not you wish to take steps to enforce your rights. Choosing not to enforce your rights can put your brand at risk from customer confusion, trademark dilution, and brand reputation damage. The longer infringement goes on, the harder it is to stop. If the infringement goes on for long enough, the infringer might ultimately end up with trademark rights of their own to the brand. And that's why monitoring is so important to catch infringement early. So a quick recap of the 5 top mistakes we see. The first is not registering your trademark. The second is getting the goods and services description wrong. The third is not protecting all of the brand assets that are valuable to your business. Fourth, you need to regularly review your trademark portfolio to make sure it's keeping up with your business. And finally, if you're not monitoring and enforcing your rights, you might as well not have them. Most founders don't really know what trademark protection they have, or whether it matches what their business is currently doing. And it's understandable. Trademarks aren't something you're taught when you start running a business. But by the time your business is driving real revenue, the gaps in your trademark protection create real risks. The cost of getting this right at the outset is always a fraction of the cost of fixing mistakes after they become problems. If you've got a brand worth protecting, we offer a free strategy review session. We'll look at the trademark portfolio you have, how you're using your trademarks in the market, and identify any gaps that we see. Feel free to book in a strategy session using the link in the description below. We'd love to help you make sure that the brand that you've built is properly protected.